Hello, welcome back to the introduction. Once again, we're gonna try this again, hopefully.
Hopefully without technical
Hopefully
difficulties.
we don't crash. Hopefully.
Oh, there's gonna be technical difficulties.
There's gonna
Bet your
be.
sweet ass there will.
It's episode 1. There technical difficulties, but back to the main question. To our technical players. What is D&D to you?
To me, Dungeons and Dragons is a tabletop game that allows me to hone my thinking capacity to think outside of the box, use well, and stupid humor, I guess, knowing our group. Yeah, just allows for a chance for creativity and all kinds of stupid shenanigans.
Okay.
Well, isn't that just some happy-pappy bullshit? You're adorable, man.
Oh, thank you guys.
Alright, Matt, we'll go pin your artwork on the fridge so everyone can see it.
Fuck you.
I mean, I would agree. It really is just it's a fun game that you get to go and be with friends or enemies. I mean, you hate me at this point, David, with how much I fuck up your games. So
They can't
But
see
it's
my
really
face,
fun.
but it's Vietnam flashback face.
As
Pain.
soon as Trenton said that, all I can imagine in the back of my head was, David, why don't you let me play this game?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's
Why do you let me play this game?
Yeah,
exactly.
that's it.
But it is really just it's a fun tabletop game to just kind of relax with your friends and throw some dice on the table and watch some metaphorical goblins get their shit kicked in.
Now, Jordan, what is D&D to you as a DM?
It's kind of hard to explain because I think of myself as the asshole DM where I want to fuck over my players as much as possible. But at the same time, it's one of those. It's able to get together with all of my friends and be able to play a game and do group storytelling and just kind of like guide people on an adventure to where everyone has fun. If you want to, if that's like the textbook definition of being a DM. It's just all about getting together and having fun with a bunch of people and guiding people on stories and quests and stuff like that.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, I don't think
I have beer.
Well, okay. So you've asked all of us, David. Why don't we flip the question back on you since you're also a DM?
Oh, well.
What does it mean to you?
To me, it is as simply as I can put it, the ability to tell a story in which most of everything comes from your players. And how badly they can fuck your world up in one session.
There it is.
You're welcome.
All three of you have done it.
The dynamic trios.
But yeah. So yeah, moving on to the next one. How to begin to get into the game for new people. So what are some things we think new players and new DMs should have?
A set of dice.
Well, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's
can't really do anything without the dice.
it's like the basis for the game, and for the most part, you can get yourself a decent set for really cheap. Like, it's the one thing that you'll need to get started. That for the most part is the only thing you'll need for every game.
I mean, I'm gonna piggyback onto that. should probably have a player's handbook, or at least someone should.
Or access to one, whether that's through online or a physical copy.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good one. People. You should probably have people.
Oh yeah,
It's definitely a difficult game to play alone.
I would say it's a very difficult game to play alone if you don't have anybody at all. Just sounds
and
like you're
not to-
talking to yourself.
And not to rip on anyone, but that would be kind of sad.
Just a little sad.
A little bit.
I mean, Jordan, what do you think people, or as a DM, what do you think a DM should have?
Well, a good internet connection, because I think when I run sessions, I'm sure you're the exact same way. But I know for a fact when I run sessions, I have probably about 17 tabs open at once.
Yes.
A good internet connection, a computer, a phone, any way you can access the internet. Because even if you don't have the source books or anything, there's so many online resources that if you don't know what you're doing, you can just look it up and find the answer for it. And pretty much as a DM, like, even if you don't have any of that, like, you would need a really good imagination to come up with improv stuff if your characters decide to derail the campaign, or to even be able to plan a session in the first place. So just a good imagination and being able to lead your players down the right path without making it seem railroaded is more than enough to be a DM.
Yeah. I mean, all good, valid points, and we're definitely gonna get more into resources and where to find them. That is a whole separate episode that I have planned out. It's down the line. It's massive because we're gonna get into that once we get into the character sheet stuff, and the main component being D&D Beyond, the biggest free online tool minus for source books
Yeah.
that you can use at the moment. So that'll kind of segue into the next. What is the difference between being a player and being a DM?
You know, that's a. It seems like it's a simple question, but it really kind of isn't. So I guess I'll take the lead on a player perspective of differences between the two. Because to me there isn't a whole lot of a difference. I mean, there is a glaring difference in the fact that as a DM, you have the ability to change the world building, the story, the abilities the players can use, the items they can use, and all of the kind of behind the scenes string pulls. But really, when it comes down to it, a DM is just kind of a really invested player. You know, they're still, at least the ones that I have had, which is really only the two of you, but let's not get into that. Between the two of you, you've always had just as much fun playing alongside us or being NPCs as you have had being the mastermind behind it all and being, you know, the enemy as well as the ally. So, I mean, the only real difference I could really say between a DM and a player is the diligence that they have towards the group that they play with and just the things that they end up having to do to set up a campaign.
Yeah. Matt, you have anything you want to add?
A whole lot. I feel like just as a player, you're the one going through the story, whereas the DM is the one creating the story and adjusting the storyline as need be, whether the players screw up the main storyline that's already been written, or influencing what can and cannot happen.
Yeah.
I'm actually really interested to hear what the two of you have to say on this.
Jordan, do you want to go first?
Is that? Why is there candle wax in my bowl of jelly beans? I'm so confused.
Just to make you ask that question.
Dude.
I'm so confused.
Well,
It looks like chili paste, but it smells like an unscented candle. I'm confused. I hope that's not blood. Anyways,
Does Jordan even know where we are at this point?
what year is it?
Not one that you want to remember, that's for damn sure.
The difference between like a DM and a player, yeah, it's I like how Trenton put it in the sense that a DM is just a really invested player as far as like coming up and playing with NPCs, the world building and everything. The DMs themselves have to do a lot of research as far as sessions go, where I feel like players don't need to do as much research. I mean, yeah, there's spells and that sort of stuff goes, but I mean, I know I can speak for myself. I'm pretty sure, David, you felt the same thing. But when it comes to planning a session, DMs have to do like a bare minimum of at least an hour or two worth of work to come up with a session. So there's a lot more of the planning, world building as far as that goes in comparison from the DM to the player. But it's just the DMs have a lot more work, the players don't, but at the same time, I feel it's a lot more rewarding as a DM because you build this world and you just see people have fun and play in it and just enjoy it so much that it's just that rewarding feeling that you get at the end of the session.
yeah. I mean, as a DM and both as a player, I know how both sides think a lot, and definitely the biggest difference is knowing what I know as a DM is really hard to not just be like, "Oh, yeah, that's how it is." And when I'm playing as a player, cuz it's the constant struggle of, well, now I'm metagaming. Shouldn't be doing that. Really shouldn't be doing that, guys.
And I'm sure we'll explain metagaming for those
Oh, we will.
who don't
We will.
understand the term.
We will.
I mean, I still don't fully, and I know exactly what the term means.
But, yeah, it's just, once again, DMs, we spend a lot more time focusing, at least, on the world building aspect, a lot longer than I think people think we do. Because, trust me, I have fleshed out several worlds, and most of the time, they just get ruined in 5 minutes. And then I have to fix them.
Sorry, not sorry.
At least I'm not as bad as the guy who was explaining the backstory for a town and said there was a mountain where the town was. Oh.
Speaking of technical issues.
You okay, Jordan?
Absolute goddamn bullshit. My phone fell and hit the power button of my laptop.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, that's great.
But, yeah. So, I know my next thing is, what is the function of the DM? Which we've kind of established is the leader, the storyteller, the one who guides the players on this journey through technically the mind and or table battle maps if you have them. I think
And depending on if you piss him off, he can act as a god and smite you.
yes.
A very angry god.
Or he'll just make you pray to your god and then throw you back up into the air as you're falling to your death already.
You know what, David? We don't talk about that.
Or here, I can get back at David. Or you can watch as your DM just takes their hand and puts their head into it as they shake their head at your 4th D20, nat 20, in a row on an attacking round to kill like 20 goblins.
Yeah.
And then when you derail that hard, you know you're in deep shit when you see the DM smiling and then you hear...
Yeah.
Yeah, when you hear shuffling of papers from behind their little whatever they use to block you off from their stuff, it's never a good sign.
And then 2 handfuls of dice just being thrown down on the table, you know you're about to die.
It's the WWE gif of the guy throwing dice on the mat and then throwing the guy on top of it.
Just...
Yo, Discord, you okay?
Hmm?
My screen that I had Discord on just went flash black real quick.
Oh.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I don't want to say this like this deep into the episode, but shouldn't we have introduced ourselves at the beginning?
Oh, we're doing that at the end. Gotta establish what D&D is first.
All right.
And then
I mean, we're throwing names around and
it's
making faces.
fine. It's fine.
All right.
Jordan, what's one way you think a DM could get new players into the game?
Are you talking new players as in new players in their area, or people that are 100% new to D&D, convincing them to play D&D?
100% new to the game. Like, never played it. Like, they know, like, what it is. Like, they've heard of it. They know it's, like, really popular because a bunch of voice actors every Thursday play it, but that's, like, it.
Bunch of nerds in their mom's basements.
Hey, you don't talk about me like that, okay?
Don't make fun of me.
Jokes on you, I'm not in my mom's basement, I'm in my own basement.
I don't know if that's better.
Joke's on you. I live in a van down by the river.
Oh, yes.
Joke's on you, I live in the dungeon.
The safe word is
Dragons.
Malachi.
No, it's Mexico. The safe word is always Mexico.
No. It's nat 1.
Oh. As far as getting like 100% new players to play, because I know a couple years ago I was in that same boat where I've listened to NADPOD, I've heard of Critical Role, I've watched all these videos, and I was like, I want to give it a shot. I kind of looked at what I would need to play, and I found Adventures League in Sacramento, and I was kind of like, you know what, let me go there, try it out. It's only an hour or 2 session. If I don't like it, it is what it is. And I went, and it was different people every single week, and it was just one of those. I didn't like not playing with the same people, because you see the camaraderie that all these groups play with, and the inside jokes, and all that sort of stuff. And that's when I reached out to you, and I was like, are you still running D&D? Because I want to start joining in on sessions that, you know, I can build that sort of rapport with people with. It really helps having people that already are into D&D to be able to go to them and say, you know, I've never played it before. I want to play. Is there any way we can play like an hour or 2 session and just kind of see where we're at with that? See if I like it, kind of build into it. Because I really feel, from my standpoint, that Adventurers League is fun. It's a way to get your foot in the door. But it's so much more fun if you're playing with friends and are able to build those inside jokes and be able to build that humor and really build on your character and flesh that out. Because it's just that whole next level of immersion, as opposed to, yeah, I brought a character sheet, 5 new people I get to play with. No one knows anything about me. They're not going to know anything about me next week. Who cares? But if you bring friends and are able to play in a comfortable environment, and people know what they're doing when you don't know anything. I feel like D&D is just one of those so welcoming communities that if you don't 100% know what you're doing, there's people at the table that are able to kind of guide you in the right direction.
Yeah. I think for me, and honestly, this goes back to the first time me and Matt played, which wasn't even D&D, it was Pathfinder.
That was Pathfinder with my cousin Pat.
Yes. Like, I think you and our other friend Matt had like one session, and then you invited me. I think that's how that went.
I'm not sure. I don't remember. I think it was all three of us for the first session.
Maybe. Either way, it was a fun experience. He definitely, your cousin definitely made us feel that sense of camaraderie and wanting to be there. Unfortunately, it didn't ever go past one session.
Yeah, unfortunately, but then again, maybe a good thing.
Yes. But that led into me taking over, starting my journey of being the DM, and I brought Trenton in. We brought
One of your
John.
friends.
We brought one of my friends, Ian from Del Campo, in. We brought John in. We all regret that decision immensely, and we don't talk about what happened.
Yep.
Yeah, but now I want to know what happened.
We'll tell you afterwards, Jordan.
There's also Dean.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's a whole
Don't talk
nother
about that one
ball.
either.
We don't talk about that either. Him and his constant need to have different characters.
That are all basically the
The
exact
same.
same template and the exact same
Yeah.
character with the exact same strategy.
Yes. Leroy Jenkins.
Jenkins.
But yeah, no, it
So, anyways, I start
blasted. Basically. Which this will lead into the next is how, as a DM, can we guide players but not make them feel like they're trapped into the singular kind of just hallway campaign.
What are you talking about? I put my players on a railroad, and if they don't like it, they can fucking leave the table.
Well, I know. Trust me, I know, Jordan.
I'm starting
So-
to feel motion sickness
Hey.
on this rail.
Hey, Jordan, sometimes I leave the table as the DM.
Well, it's kind of hard to not put you guys on a railroad because I know the last couple sessions, it's like the princess died. Okay, cool. How do we get to the Shadowfell? It's like, holy fuck! Let me plan on how you guys are gonna shift from plane to plane because I don't even know that shit.
Now we're in the Shadowfell, so.
Yeah, and you guys are gonna get fucked. I'm letting you know that.
Oh,
right
I
now.
know.
That's okay. I have a backup
Spoilers.
character set up.
Yeah, you're tweaker mud.
I gotta make Dirt his alcoholic older brother.
My name is
Yeah.
Mud.
My name is Mud.
Mud.
But yeah,
Call me Aloysius Stevedander, Abercrombie, that's long for mud.
I mean, but Jordan, this isn't really for us. This is just more in the general, like, because I've seen, like, some, and this is why I don't like pre-made campaigns for the most part, because while they do have some flexibility, they're all,
It's pre-made campaigns and modules are very much like you have to do this. They don't have contingency plans for if your players decide to go left instead of right.
yeah, it's, you have to go in this room, in this order, pick up this item and do this thing in the previous room. That's it. End of the campaign. You've beat it. You're done.
Which, kind of going back to Adventurers League, I don't want to seem like I'm bashing Adventurers League because that was my foot in the door as far as D&D goes. But Adventurers League ran such small modules and campaigns, and it was very much so railroaded that you couldn't do anything outside of, oh, there's 5 goblins, now that they're dead, you guys move along, as opposed to 5 goblins are dead, what do you guys want to do next?
Yeah.
And, as a DM, you kind of have to plan for if your players want to do something else as opposed to where you want to lead them.
Yeah.
And I know I've been guilty of kind of hard railroading from time to time, just because.
To be real, our group does that all the time, though, just because
you guys derail everything. I mean, like Jesus Christ.
We are
That's
masters.
That's why I just have so many tables to roll on. It just helps having. I know so many DMs say you don't want to plan too much just in case your players don't railroad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you overplan and just have so many resources available to you, like D100 tables, you have pre-made dungeons, have the names for all the towns, you have NPCs already written up. It helps having all of that available to you, so that way if your players decide to go a different direction, you can just pull it up and already have it ready to go, almost like a pre-made campaign.
Yeah.
And then next session, you go to plan it out, you can flesh out everything else as they move along.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah. And on the topic of pre-made characters, they are both interesting and weird at the same time, because I know with the pirate campaign that I ran, I had to flush out each of the pirate lords because of the fact that I knew questions were going to arise by there only being 9 of them and not covering every race.
Right.
Because I chose 9 races I don't see played often, specifically because they're so rare, and I made them the central point simply so it would be an interesting plot point for players to go, hey, that's a Minotaur who's leading other Minotaurs as pirates. What?
Right. And, I feel like listening to a lot of podcasts, because I know that you know this, but a lot of my inspiration comes from NADPOD and listening to like all of their stuff and their extended lore and everything.
Yeah.
So really listening to the theory behind how other DMs run their game and all those different resources, it really helps kind of hone in on what you want to do as far as storytelling.
Yeah.
So that way you can see, oh, this DM did something that I don't really want to do, but this DM did it how I want to do it. So you can kind of mesh all of your different play styles together
Yeah.
to see what works best as far as how your players play the campaign.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's shift from the DM side of this, and we'll go to the players. How do you think you can help build the DM's world?
I think just by being there. I know, at least through our campaigns, there have been times where we'll be working on a plot line and we kind of derail a little bit and end up doing a little bit of a slub plot that I'm sure that you or Jordan have had to improvise for. Just to
What? Never.
Never.
shut up. Just to, expand the world that they've already created.
I think, in my own opinion, one of the easiest ways that you can help, well, you can sometimes help. Sometimes you make their life a living hell by doing this, but a really easy way to kind of help a DM kind of flesh out their own world is by writing your own character's backstory and not
Yes.
being afraid to, like,
Absolutely.
really really go out there with it, you know? Because like a lot of people go with the basic, oh, my parents were killed in a fire, or I've got
Hey, leave Pyre out of this. His whole village burned, okay?
This isn't
Hey,
about
hey,
him.
leave Jameson out of this. His family was killed by a plague. Okay, I don't want to talk about it.
But like the thing that comes to mind was that one of the very first times that I think it was when I joined you guys for the first time.
Probably.
Because I wrote a backstory
Oh,
for
yes,
my
you did.
character where I said that he was originally part of some, I think it was like a mercenary band or something.
Yes.
And he got double crossed, and so they were chasing him.
By
and
your crazy
actually-
ex.
By my crazy
Yes.
ex, that was it, the crazy ex.
Oh, and don't forget you had a missing dad as well.
Right. Yeah, no, we never got to finish that either. That's kind of sad. His dad will forever be missing. Poor guy. But you wrote an entire like new encounter that wasn't there before around just that backstory.
Yep.
Which, so I mean, and all it took me was, I think this sounds cool. Why don't I try this?
Yeah.
And that was it. I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and you were like, "Let me take that real quick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it better."
Yeah. And to add to that backstory real quick before we get to you, Matt, again.
Okay.
I remember when Dean gave me his backstory and he was like, my dad's also missing, and I went, we got 2 missing dads? They're the same person now.
They're the same person.
Doesn't matter if you're both different races. Same person.
Same dude.
Same dude.
Same dude.
And the brother idiots were together.
And we hated each other.
You did.
Our characters hated each other.
Yeah.
Damn, that was perfect.
So yes, Matt, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna piggyback off that. Yeah, sometimes the DM hasn't written certain parts of the world's backstory, and sometimes your individual character's backstory helps to flush out that section of the world that hadn't been developed yet.
I guess if I wanted to go into something a little bit harder, because like of course that's the easiest way is just writing backstory, but something that's a little bit more in depth, and it definitely kind of plays into that whole being part of a group and being part of a tight knit group, people who know each other and who are going to be doing this for more than like one time.
Yeah.
Is something like you and me do, David, kind of sometimes, not all
Sometimes.
the time, but
Not all the time.
sometimes. Is you'll kind of bounce ideas off me, and
Yeah.
I kind of bounce something back at you.
Yeah.
And so kind of knowing your DM personally, not just as a DM.
That was me and
being like,
Jordan.
hey, hey, do you want to, do you have any ideas that you want to try and like flesh out maybe or something?
Yeah.
If you really want to see that campaign get really, really fun and in-depth and fleshed out, reach out to your DM, because I'm sure they would appreciate the help.
Or in turn, your DM reaches out to the player. Because I know Jordan relies on me a lot. Just because as the other DM at the table, I do have some ideas that he probably hasn't thought of.
Yeah, and like it helps having another DM at the table, and I'm not saying that every group has to have another DM at the table, but just knowing another DM, you know that they think the same way you do as far as like world building and
Yeah.
NPCs and campaigns and quests and stuff like that go. So you know that if you go to them and say, oh, I did this, how can I make this better? Or you did this, how would your character want to resolve this?
Yeah.
It helps bouncing those ideas off of another DM, so that way you can fully flesh out everything and just kind of get a second pair of eyes on what you haven't seen. So
So we're gonna stick to the topic of players helping drive the story, and this is gonna be a very controversial topic, but it's how can you help the DM make sure that the group is still being guided in a way that moves the story along?
I know for me, it's asking questions. Like, obviously, not every question could be answered up front, because some of it leads to metagaming. But just having that communication of knowing what you should do versus what you shouldn't, if
Yeah.
that makes sense, without metagaming.
Yeah, this one is definitely a difficult kind of topic to broach.
It
Just
is.
because
That's why I had to put it here.
because as we stated, the basic idea is that the players are supposed to be going through this story that's been created. So they're supposed to be kind of being driven, but at the same time it's their decisions that drive towards that story. So they can very easily get off track. So being driven while still being in the driver's seat is definitely a balancing act. Not only on the player side, but I would assume on the DM side as well.
It
Because just as much as I can derail an idea of yours,
I can
I
quickly
might just
derail.
yeah, you can quickly derail my derailing.
Yes.
So personally, if I had to go for like how driving and being guided at the same time goes, it really comes down to being invested in the story
Yeah.
and doing small weird checks. Like maybe you walk into a town and they say something about a church tower or something,
Do a smell
and
check.
so rather do a spell check or do a
Not
religion check
spell,
or-
smell.
oh, smell check.
The least known perception check
Sounds
ever.
kind of fishy, if you ask me.
Well, we are
I-
near a port, jackass.
I walked into the bar. It smelled of beer. That's suspicious.
Oh, rich mahogany.
Sus.
But doing something like doing a religion check.
Yeah, just
and,
randomly asking to do a check.
and again, a lot of this is personal because I'm not a DM. I'm not gonna tell you how to DM. I'm not gonna tell the people watching this how to DM.
No.
But personally, especially coming from like RPG video games as well, a great way for me as a player to feel both like I have control, but there is still a story that is going on around me, is having little details like that religion being fleshed out, or having a quest have an option for failure.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe one of our players is chaotic evil and he's just a dick and he kills a dude. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Have fun not knowing the quest now, dumbass. Now when the big bad comes around, he whoops your ass because you don't even know what the fuck's going on.
Yep.
But balancing something like that into things like side quests, and like RPGs have a hard time with this because they have to code in, right?
Yeah.
They have to code in open world things, and so this guy, he can't be killed because it's a main quest, but this side character can be killed and you can fail that quest. But I kind of feel with a game like D&D, it's a little bit easier because you don't have to deal with all those extra strings.
Nah, you kill that guy.
you
No
can-
quest for you.
Right, you can do that, and it doesn't have to derail everything completely. And you can make it so that that person doesn't die until your characters at least meets them. Whereas in an RPG video game, they have to code it so that dude stays alive until he gets talked to, which causes a bunch of strings of code.
You mean Jordan killing the princess?
Yep.
What?
I have no idea what you're talking about though, because I'm not part of that.
No.
one.
God.
Basically, what happened is that there was a royal wedding in town. They were hired as mercenaries to protect and make sure no one got in. Princess talked to David's character. Assassin came out of nowhere to kill the princess, and no one rolled high enough perception checks to catch the assassin. So
So
Basi-
you
So basically, David's character was blamed for the murder. He got executed, but if anyone rolled high enough perception check to catch him, they could have effectively, I don't want to talk about what could have happened, but
right.
effectively, one of their characters could have found the assassin and either brought him to justice or figured out a different quest that I had planned for it. But just because something happened, there were negative consequences.
Yes.
And I think that was actually, I know that was voluntary, but I think as a DM, that was my first ever player death.
Yes.
Was
Me volunteering to die.
you volunteering to die just because you wanted to play different.
Because everybody was making fun of me.
Because you were a bright ass parrot Aarakocra in the middle of this weird, like, Middle Asian Russian town full of dwarves. Everyone was like, everything's blue and white, and you're just like red and yellow and green, and everyone's like, why the fuck are you here?
And now I'm just a walking
You're a
night
different color.
lamp.
I don't like it.
Now I'm a walking lava lamp, so
Yeah.
I mean, that definitely sounds like it plays into what I was talking about and kind of explains it in better, more simplistic terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was an option for failure, but there were contingency plans in case that failure happened, but they all kind of still are player driven.
Mhm.
You know,
Yes.
it wasn't like David was going to die. Period. No
Yeah.
choice.
no.
And there was like, they could have caught the thief. They could have not caught the thief, but maybe he didn't die. There were options, and you had paths for those options.
Okay,
Yeah.
to be real, it was either die or sit in prison for like the next couple of sessions.
You still
Yeah.
had a choice. And that's the thing. You still had a choice. You could have sat there, and they could have gone and tried to pull like a GTA-esque heist to try and break your ass out of prison.
I'm pretty sure Jordan had that planned until I said I wanted to die.
And see,
I will
there it is
neither
again.
confirm nor deny.
And there it is
That-
again. There's that like, because there's a fine balancing point of over preparation versus under preparation.
Mhm.
And I cannot imagine the kind of tightrope it must be to walk it.
I would say it's definitely a very tightrope, just because I know me and Jordan probably both try and plan for everything, but I know Jordan also doesn't plan for everything, especially when I ask, like, what's the name of that random character? And he goes, hold up, no, I gotta create a whole stat block for this character in case David
Yeah.
wants to fight him.
It's one of those, if you're underprepared, it definitely lacks as far as the storytelling goes. If you're overprepared, then you have just way too much resource
Yeah.
than you can ever need.
Yeah.
But try and put it like very. I like the way that he put it in the sense that there's got to be consequences for if you don't roll high enough, because D&D, if your players are just rolling and go, oh well, I hit it, everyone's dead, we saved the day, cool.
Yeah.
It just gets repetitive and boring after a while, and the
Oh, yeah.
characters don't feel like they're making an impact. But going back to the whole princess thing, just because you guys missed the DC threshold by maybe 1 or 2, now one of the player characters is dead, and everyone blamed him for the murder, which, if you guys caught that assassin, it would have led to this completely different story arc. And, it's just something so simple as being off by 1 or 2, it can completely change the story. So, I know this is all like the player section and everything, but as the DDM, it's hard to plan for, if your players are off by 1 or 2, to have to almost completely rewrite the whole story that you had written so far.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
just again, trying to put it beautifully as far as you have to have consequences as far as if they don't do well enough or they don't plan it out enough, that something very well could go wrong and seriously go wrong, as opposed to just, oh, you didn't see it, no big deal, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
We hit all my bullet points, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah, saw that. I've been following the whole damn time.
I mean,
Same.
if we want to, we can go on to resources you need, but that one's just much shorter because that was pretty much just going to be me and Jordan talking about like the free online books, the tables, and
but at the same time, I do feel it'd be helpful if players kind of chime in on what resources they need, because I know DMs push for players to get a player's handbook or do their own research, but you know, it's not always the DMs are available 24/7 to be able to tell you where to go or what kind of books you need or where
Yeah.
you need to look, because it's all about how you play your player. And I know Ken has come to me multiple times going, what kind of spell should I take? And I'm just like, I don't know how you play your player. I don't know how you want to play your player, so I can't answer that question.
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Even though I know pretty much what every spell does, I can't answer how you want to play your character.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, then let's talk about it. So, I guess the simple thing is books right now. Simplest thing is books because that's where everything is. That's pretty much how you're gonna get all your information.
Oh yeah.
Both as a player and as a DM. I definitely think digital nowadays is probably easier because you can simply just type in which book you need and you can find a digital version of it. Either as
That, and if you're somewhere with like no internet connection, usually you can download those and have access to that PDF. No
exactly,
problem.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do what Jordan did and print them all out.
Or that.
I mean, hell, you don't even really need physical dice now either. Well,
No.
with, you have Google has
Yeah.
dice rollers. You
Yeah.
have D&D Beyond has
dice rollers
the new
built in now.
dice beta.
But yeah, I definitely think that like the digital books are just easier to find, and while yes, you are gonna have to pay full price for them unless you have a coupon code. But you are able to buy just what you want from them for like significantly less. Like I don't buy full books anymore. I buy like whatever race, class, or specific thing I want from the books now.
Yeah.
But that's just because I know most of the time the books are just going to be extra adventures that I'm never going to use.
And what's nice about the digital stuff, at least with D&D Beyond that we've worked with, is the person who creates the campaign can limit what can and can't be accessed to.
Yeah.
So like for someone like me who just has the base account, no additional content, if David were to set up the campaign and there's a character that I want to build that's of a race or class I don't have access to, if he has those source books when he set up the campaign, I can use those source books.
Yeah. And I definitely think that does help, especially it gives other players options that they normally wouldn't have, just because I know not everybody's going to shell out money to buy all this, but it's nice when you have one or two people who do have everything. And I know, Jordan, we might want to think about maybe going halvesies on the complete bundle eventually, just because it's got a lot of stuff in it now with Tasha's Cauldron out.
Yeah.
But I know Jordan has a bunch of resources that he uses that he can find for free. I definitely think another thing DM should have is a monster manual and the DM's guide.
Sorry, my internet decided to take
Oh.
shit on me and kick me out of Discord.
Oh no, it's okay, buddy.
No worries.
I definitely think like the monster manual is like a must-have, and I'm not even a DM.
No.
Just because I mean that's a huge resource full of something that can help you build your world. Which again, you know, as a DM, you want to spend the most time building that story rather than the actual world. You know,
Yeah.
you want the world to be done so you can do the story and then get your players into it and start getting that all that done.
And
So having a little cheat sheet like the monster manual is primo.
absolutely, and I think if you're starting out and you're not planning on DMing, I think the two things that you should have is going to be the base player guide and the base monster guide. Because generally, when you're first starting, the DM shouldn't be throwing you straight into the most complex world with literally every race and class. It should be okay. We're going to start with the base. Here are the handful of races that you can select from, a
Yeah.
handful of classes you can choose from. Those resources are there to help you get started before throwing you into the how complex the game can be.
But on the topic of players having a monster manual, that leads back into the metagaming,
Yeah.
where yeah, you know what the character's health is, but as a DM, it's like, oh, I know that person's got a monster manual. Well, now that monster is slightly altered.
True,
Yeah.
it's true.
I definitely
Well,
think I can agree with your point here, though, on the page here, where really, as a player, the only thing you really truly need, like if you were trying to start and just go bare bones, the only thing as a player you would really need when it comes to like physical resources is your player's handbook, because that's going to have your races, your classes, everything you need to set up your character, everything you need to know to play your character, everything you need to know. Well, most of the things you need to know to
Yeah.
kind of role play your character.
It's gonna have the
The
basics.
majority is the base knowledge that you need to get into
Yeah.
the game.
It's literally they call it a handbook for a reason.
Yeah.
Because it's the thing you need to start.
Jordan, what were you gonna say?
um, I completely forget. I
Wow.
have the memory of a fish.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Jordan. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
I know from my standpoint, I like to homebrew a lot.
Yeah.
So very much having those online resources, having the DM's guide, the monster manual, and you can splice characters together. Because I know I don't want to get too much into it because I know this is kind of letting you guys know what's as far as next section goes. But I've spliced together like vampires and a Balrog before, and
Oh.
yeah,
Oh.
it's kind of a mean little thing. But once you start getting into homebrewing, it really opens up all the doors to, yeah, I like this character or what this enemy does as far as fighting them, but I really wish it did this as well.
Or it looked like this.
Right. Because when I homebrew a lot of stuff, I know especially when I was creating this last stat block, it was very much like I was basing it off of something that I've seen before, and I'm just like, yeah, I can kind of get how I can reskin it to say it does this instead of that, but I can't really do it unless it has this added to the stat block.
Yeah.
Um, so really, as far as source books go for DMs, yeah, the DM guide is great. The monster manual is great. I'm a huge advocate for home brewing, though, just because
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
you can get every little thing dialed in exactly how you want it, and you can tweak it so that way if you know your player. I hate to throw Trenton under the bus, but your player gets nat 20s and does a divine smite off of it. You can
You're
go.
damn right.
You can go, oh, this person's immune to radiant damage or resistant to radiant damage. So that way, your one character doesn't totally wipe out this enemy that you've been spending an hour trying to stat block it for
Yep.
in one round. So
Yeah,
you know,
because those fights, like, I felt bad the first time I did that to David. I felt really bad because I remember you telling me how much effort you put into that. What was it? It was some kind of gem
Oh,
elemental.
oh, the gem giant elemental that had like different gemstones on it.
Yeah, the one that we ended up like only
Crotch
spending, like,
shotting. You guys crotch
Yeah.
shotted it to death.
What?
6 turns. Yeah, no, because here was the thing. He had like a weak spot, but the only way to get to that weak spot
God.
for us as normals to see it
Was under
for
him.
him to get like down on his knees, and
yeah.
so we literally just like
Kneecapped him.
shotted him.
He also
heavy
kneecapped him like a
nut-shotted him.
couple of times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Absolute motherfucker.
and we had Dean at the time who was like warlocking, and so he was spell channeling into my gunslinger, who was then critting the hell out of this giant thing that David had spent like an hour trying to figure out how to make a difficult battle, and we like 5-shotted it.
Yeah.
I
Cut-
don't even
felt kinda
remember what
bad.
character I was playing.
You were playing a
You were
rock.
the one doing the nut shots.
No, that was Ian. That was Ian. That was my friend Ian.
Was that Ian?
Yeah, because he was playing a cleric. He was playing a cleric with his big old mace that he was just pounding into it.
He's
Oh,
speed
yeah.
bagging that shit.
Yeah.
Speed bagging it. It was
Yeah.
bad.
It was
just-
It was hilarious to
Do it
watch.
again.
But like, no, Jordan, like he had no visible weakness, and I was like, okay, you know, let me add one weakness, but they're never gonna find it. Hits him
Yeah.
twice in the knees, and then
No.
they see the giant exposed. Crystal.
David. I remember how we figured it out. Because this was the beginning of me accidentally creating characters that you wouldn't think of.
Oh yeah,
Because you made it out of gems.
yeah,
I made a dwarven gunslinger.
that's right.
And I thought about it and I went, "Hey David, let me roll for that special thing that dwarves
Oh,
have.
stone
It's called
stone cunning.
stone cutting." And he looked at me and he was so mad because he goes, "Shit, now you know the weak point." But he felt sly because he didn't tell me how to see it.
No, I just told him what it was.
And then someone knocked him onto his knees and David goes, "You can see the thing now." And I went, "Oh!"
Yeah.
I know this is about source books and everything, but I feel like since we're on this topic, I wanted to bring this up. As a DM, even though you spend an hour or two creating stat blocker encounter, it's vital not to get disappointed if your characters wipe this thing out in like a round or two.
Oh, yes.
Because it's, as the DM, yes, you want to see your story played out and you want to see it go exactly how you want to, but at the same time, your characters are playing your story, so you're just the storyteller. You're not the one that's like, oh, this thing crits on all of its attacks and kills all of you, because then that just doesn't make it fun for all the players at your table.
Yeah.
So to not get disappointed when your characters wipe out a big bad guy in like a round, it just it doesn't make the players feel like they did something wrong. You know, it gives them that sense of satisfaction as opposed to, oh fuck, well now the DM's mad at us, I don't want to play anymore. You know.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't so much that I was mad, it was just I didn't even think about the fact that stone cutting would work on it when I made it.
No, I know. I'm not saying that as a big towards
I know.
absolute slightest.
Oh no!
But-
Yeah, no. I felt bad. Me personally, I felt bad.
Should all
'cause
felt
I was
bad.
like, he worked so hard on, and I didn't think that like Dean's crazy idea of channeling
Oh,
energy was going to work
No, but he
and-
rolled high enough.
high enough.
Yeah, they created an arcane long gun, basically.
Jesus Christ.
Gotta love muskets with that crazy ass crit space.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter because I was hitting nat 20s.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was that was the beginning.
Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Let's get into the introductions. Trent, we'll start with you since you're at the top.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Am I?
You're at the
I thought
top
that
on
was
my
just
screen.
On my screen.
Nope.
Oh, cool. All right. I guess I will start. Am I going with my real name or should I use my screen?
We've been saying your real name this whole time.
You know what I mean, my full one.
Oh no, don't use your full one.
All right. Well, I'm
Just
Trenton.
first name.
I'm the cool one.
He's
I
the
think-
Fred to our mystery machine.
I sure am.
I'm the
hot,
mystery machine.
He's
I'm hot
he
and I
knows how to
don't
wear an
know what the
ascot.
hell I'm talking about.
And he sure can rock an ascot.
Damn right. Hey gang, let's split up.
I'm gonna go with the girls. You go with the dog.
No, but I think I'm the newest out of all of us when it comes to D&D. I think I'm a
Matt
baby.
has you beat like 3 sessions.
Yeah, well still, that's quite a bit considering.
Yeah. Oh, is that it? Are you done, Trenton?
Do you want me to do more?
No, that's it. Then we'll go to Matt.
Should I turn on my cam for this?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Well, I'm Matt. Also go by Big Scandy online, just online name. I'm usually the pile of bricks that's stronger than he is smart. Um, yeah.
That's true.
Usually I'm just along for the ride, kind of oblivious to a lot of shit, but that's okay. I still have fun.
You swing a mean hammer, and that's all that matters.
Now he sings a silvered sword.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't swing a hammer, swings a sword. He drinks Roundup to get drunk when he's an 8-foot-tall tree. That is what I will forever remember him as.
Jordan, we're gonna get to that when we get the races.
Beard.
I'm Treebeard. I killed myself by drinking Roundup.
No, you got drunk. You didn't kill yourself.
But
Oh,
he
yeah,
had to
that's right.
You burnt to a crisp.
saving throws to try not. And then me as the little halfling, I was like, I want to give him a reward. Can I fertilize his roots? Like, what? I want to give him some fertilizer.
No.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Okay, Jordan, to you.
Yes, I am Jordan. Okay, goodbye. No, I've been playing D&D probably close to 3 years, something like that. Kind of off and on, but D&D's fun to me. I started as a player, worked up to a DM, and now that I have all this world building, I'm just kind of the forever DM at this point. But I more enjoy the world building as opposed to playing anyway, so it's not too much of a hassle for me.
It's also a nice break for me.
Yeah, well, I kind of miss playing Jameson just because I like.
I know.
Jameson.
I know.
Oh, I also forgot to tell you, David. I upgraded Jameson, and now he's 14 level gunslinger, 6 level rogue. So he does auto crit on surprise attacks. I think he rolls 12d6.
God.
4d12 plus 16 damage, and then
Jesus
he takes,
Christ.
if he uses grit points and shit, I think he does a max damage of 354 per attack, and he makes 6 attacks per round. So
Woo!
yeah.
Great. I'm making him solo Tiamat.
Fuck. But yeah, you know, D&D is fun. I like the world building aspect of it. It's fun to come up with pretty much a book that you've written and see people act out the characters that you want them to act out.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, I guess it's my turn. I am David. I will be leading all of us on this wonderful journey through what is D&D and how to start playing D&D. Sometimes some of these episodes are going to be just me. Other times it'll be me, one other person, maybe two others. I'm going to try and get all of us together as much as possible to record. But I know with various different schedules and what's going on in our lives, not going to be easy. So, and I know we all have like our certain specific topics we want to talk about when we get there.
Oh, me and Jordan are gonna butt heads over that gunslinger. I guarantee it.
Ah!
I guarantee it.
Or you guys could just work together.
Nah, I want to see them butt heads.
But why would we do that?
Oh, right. It's too easy. My apologies.
But yes.
Thank you.
God damn it, Matt! Know your place.
But
Shut up, Treebeard. Just sit there, look dumb, and swing the hammer. Damn it.
I'll take some Roundup, please.
You can have it as long as you shut the hell up.
But yes,
Oh.
we're gonna be doing for races and classes. We're gonna be doing individual videos for each race and class. And I know for classes, some of you guys wanted to do specific ones that you've played and or have wanted to play, which will make me lead you on the journey of how you would play that class. I don't think we had anybody specifically ask for races. I know Jordan, I think you want to do the Revenant.
I like the Revenant very much. I'd love to do a class on him just because it's one of those. It doesn't really have a lot of videos explaining how to play Revenant, and I feel like I've done so much research on how to play one that I feel like I can kind of break the news on all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And we're also going to be covering a lot of the homebrew races that you're not going to be able to find in official source books.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, I think the Revenant's one, technically.
Treebeard.
Treebeard, technically, because that's actually one I made an amalgamation of based off of other treants I had seen, where I was like, I like that, but that one's cooler, but it doesn't have the features I want from the first one. Like the different types of woods you could be, giving you different stat blocks.
Did we ever establish what type of wood that was?
I don't think we did. I don't remember.
I said he was gonna be mahogany, but Matt got mad. Because mahogany gave him a +1 to every stat.
Oh, fuck.
Because it's
Yeah.
exquisite wood.
That's absolutely beautiful.
He's got great wood.
He's got great wood, you know.
Talking about my wood.
And then I know we're gonna do stats, and I think Jordan, I'm gonna make you sit that one out.
Okay.
Just because you know a lot about stats already.
Put me on the bench,
Bench.
coach.
Go to bench.
Oh.
Put me in the game, coach. Put me in the game.
And then yeah, because I want to just have it be the two players and me guiding them through specifically what stats do both in-game and story-wise.
Mhm.
And then we're gonna cover the various backgrounds. That might have to be a multi-parter. I don't want to break up each background because a lot of them are so similar. Just in terms of like what they give you. That I feel like I could research that and just be like, this group gives you these, but there's like one or two slight differences. This group gives you this, one or two slight differences.
Right.
In terms of like stat upgrades and like other various things it'll give you. Like I know Acolyte versus a Sage. very similar. One or two things are different about them. And then we get to the fun topic, alignment.
Oh,
And I think we'll definitely have to bring all four of us in for alignment so we can all talk about, like, what does each alignment actually stand for? And,
I
like,
mean,
how do you
you know what
play each alignment?
you know what else we're gonna have to bring? We're gonna have to bring a metric ass ton
Of vodka.
of memes.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Vodka too, but
Vodka too.
that's on each of our ends.
Yes.
I still have a crap ton.
so do I.
And Matt, your dad still needs to send me his.
Send what?
But-
I'm sorry.
The flavored crap that you said. that
Oh
you
shit.
were
Yeah.
sending.
Okay.
Yeah. I want that, damn it.
And then after alignment, we're gonna talk about equipment, and we'll tie that into like class equipment versus magical items that a DM can hand out.
Are we ever gonna? I mean, I assume we will, since you're kind of making this sort of all encompassing. Are we ever gonna do like videos on like world building and specifically like time periods and things like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think for world building, I think for the start of that, it'll just be me and Jordan as we
Oh, for
literally
sure.
throw everything out, and then when we get to
Yeah.
the time periods, I'll bring you in because obviously there are different time periods you can set your worlds into.
And I know a ton about them.
I would also like to join in on that.
I mean,
just 'cause
you-
Sure
know
can,
I meant-
Matt.
I meant
We
you
can
too.
work together.
And then we're gonna get to the how to build your character with all the knowledge that we're
Yeah.
dropping. That's gonna be like one of the very last videos after like world building. And
Well,
then
yeah, because I mean, when you build your character, the first thing you gotta know
Mhm.
is, all right, well,
where are they
what
from?
kind of- yeah, like what? First, you gotta know what races are gonna be there,
Yeah.
right? And then the classes are gonna be based on
is a-
world building,
Yeah.
history, time period, things like
Yeah.
that. So really, you can't build your character until you know what the world you're going to be putting that character in is.
And then we're gonna be to how to read a character sheet,
Oh yeah.
because I know you and Matt specifically wanted,
Yes.
especially
because
when it's
it's-
related to D&D Beyond.
And it's just because it's imperative.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to read your character
Character sheet. Yeah.
you're going to mess up your own rolls.
Yeah.
You're going to mess up your spells, your attacks. You're going to miss out on bonuses, on
Yeah.
all kinds of things. And you're just going to have a pain in the ass time trying to play.
that, and for people like me and Trenton, we're not seeing this stuff almost daily, whereas
Yeah.
you and Jordan might, because you guys are
Consume it nonstop.
consume that knowledge nonstop. It's kind of nice for those of us who don't see it daily to have a refresh, to because there are some parts of the character sheet that I may have used in the past I'm not currently using for current character, and a
Yeah.
refresh would be nice.
Wait, you guys don't listen or watch D&D 24/7?
No, they
What?
don't.
Fuck no.
Oh, fuck.
Jordan, I'm over here getting laid. Excuse you.
So is Jordan. What's your point?
Star Wars, okay?
Shit.
Me and Matt are the only two not getting laid.
Well, hey, that means we're even. We have a getting laid
Laid?
nerd player perspective. We have a getting
Laid
laid
nerd
nerd
DM.
DM perspective. We have a not getting laid nerd player perspective and a not getting laid nerd DM perspective. We got the whole fucking board covered.
Holy fuck.
We are the alignments.
Continue.
It all changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Yeah. You fucking Matt's Earth down there. David's fire. You're air, and I'm wait. No,
You're
I fucked
water.
that up.
Your water.
I fucked that
Your
up.
water.
No, I'm the Fire Nation because I'm attacking with the sick ass burns. Damn it!
Yeah, but fire is my whole stick.
I don't care. I will steal it from you. I will energy bend the hell out of you.
I'll buy you a plane ticket to do it.
I'm not Earth,
Do
Wind,
it!
Fire, Water. I'm
Do
I'm the,
it!
I'm the avatar of the trash can.
Get out of the trash! Get out of the trash can!
You can't have lettuce wraps. Get off the counter.
And here's an example of our derailment.
Yes.
We derailed our own video.
Yes. But I know, and Jordan, I know, I talked to the other two, but we are going to do live play, and I didn't know if you were down for that.
Ooh,
I mean,
you don't gotta
it's
tell
a-
me twice.
I know.
It's a distance off, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing we
It's a very far distance once we get past the character sheet stuff. Once you guys have built
Yeah.
your characters, and we're gonna do that live.
Yay.
So we'll do that one by one, which means each of you is gonna have to like share your screen for D&D Beyond,
Yeah.
so we can see that.
Okay.
And then like
That's fine.
we'll break it down. We'll be like, okay, how do you wanna, like, what do you want to play, knowing what you know now versus what you knew before we started this crazy long journey.
And is that going to be the three of us and one DM, or is it going to be the four of us and one of the two of you DMing, or like how are we going to do that?
It's gonna be me as the DM and you three playing.
Okay.
So, anyways, I start
We're blasted.
So- Great. So me and Jordan are gonna have another thing to fight over because we're both gonna be like, I want to build a gunslinger, and we're gonna look at each other and go, No, I want to.
Hey,
I wanna
hey,
be a
you
tree.
you know I have a solution to this. One of you just be an artificer.
No, it's just gonna turn into that Spider-Man meme where they're both pointing at each other. And it's just gonna be me and Trent just going, "I want to play a gunslinger." Both. No, it's the format of the meme. Let me see if I can explain this. Just
I'm the
You-
Dirty Dan.
two Spider-Men pointing at each other, and then when two players show up to the same session with the same race, like that's gonna be it. Just
But yeah,
Oh, you know what we could do, Jordan, to work together? We could
Oh,
do
Lord.
like what I was trying to do with my paladin on this last thing.
what was that?
Do you remember where I had it was like at 6th level, I got to take any feat that I wanted, and so I took firearm proficiency so that Jameson could throw him a gun at any time and he could just
Jesus
blast
Christ.
Oh, yeah!
people. I could be a tank with a gun.
Yeah.
Holy fuck! I
Jordan.
could just be the spellcaster that constantly buffs it.
Bing, bing, bing.
Jordan, I know when we get to what is D&D Beyond, we are gonna have to talk about the dark cousin that is Roll20.
No one talks about Roll20.
You're right, but we're gonna have to talk about it
Fuck.
because it is the OG D&D.
Yeah.
I thought you said Rule 20. I was like,
No, Roll20. So yeah, that'll be it, gentlemen.
does anybody talk about Piazza anymore?
You know, they haven't put anything out recently. They've just been amending all their online stuff. They haven't put a book out in like so long. I honestly think that they fell by the wayside when D&D got as big as it was. And I'm going to say thanks to Critical Role, NADPOD, The Adventure Zone. Just
Probably.
because, you know, honestly, Pathfinder was kind of like the cheaper way to get into D&D. Because honestly, you could find those books for like, I think I found one for like 75% off before.
Yeah, you can find those things dirt cheap at like
But-
thrift shops.
But
or
like
Walmart.
D&D books for like 5th edition, nah, so expensive, non-existent, or you gotta buy them digitally,
and it's
Yep.
still expensive.
and it's still expensive.
I'm sure Games Workshop and the reemergence of the Warhammer franchise probably